What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mo Buckets podcast. My name is Hoodie Ben. To my right, we got the Vision. Frankie Vision, what's good?
What's good, 2019? That's what's good.
2019, yo, fresh one. And then we got, to his right, we got Mr. No Look Pass. Magic Mitch, what's good?
What up, what up?
All right, man. Yo, first one of the new year, 2019. This, new year, new podcast.
Yeah, sorry we've been slipping a little bit late through the holidays. Hope everyone enjoyed the break. Got some good food. Good food.
We're
Good
all
games
back,
to watch.
nice and relaxed.
Nice and relaxed.
The holidays, man. We all ate. We watched ball. We stayed, kind of in shape, I guess.
Tried to.
That off-season shape, man. But, to be real, on the ball side, it's been an exciting time in the off-season. Like, for our off-season, it's been an exciting time for the basketball league. A lot of exciting games has been going on. Mm-hmm. And now that we're, 45 games into the season, we're really starting to see teams gel and click, man. It's been exciting to see. It's
kind of crazy if you look at how much people were panicking early on in the season for certain teams. And now, when you look at it, it's like, oh, this is what it was all supposed to be, right?
Yeah, the swings of the game, right? And I think now we're really starting to see real teams shape up, right? You're giving an avenue for the younger rookies to step up. You're giving a chance for teams to actually gel. And now, systems are built.
It's true. And defenses are starting to lock in, right? Because, now that teams are getting a chance to play each other second and third time.
Those scouting reports are real now, right?
True.
Now you know how to guard players. And, dude, this is, the real season happening right now. And there's a lot of storylines to cover.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's jump into this. The Mo Buckets of the week. For anyone that's been following basketball, you already know this one's going to James Harden and the Houston Rockets, man.
Now they always say congratulations.
These guys have been, they've really reemerged. We saw in the beginning of the season, they were one of those teams where everyone was kind of like, what's going on with them? Are they even going to make the playoffs? But these guys have really come on. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've moved themselves back up into the thick of things, man. They're fourth in the West. And they're second. They're ranked second in offense and 26th in defense. And we know their struggles with defense has taken a hit this season, and that was kind of expected, with the loss of Ariza and everybody. But man, this second in offense is, I'm not going to say largely, attributed to James Harden, but it's pretty much solely attributed.
Oh, it's James Harden.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. This is James Harden putting the Houston Rockets on his back.
So James Harden is second in NBA offense.
It's this
by himself.
This is ridiculous. We already know he's leading the league in points right now. We saw that historical 40-point streak where he did it 5 games in a row, and he was only the 5th player to do it in the last 50 years. Some of the milestones he's really hitting, he's averaging 42 points in January. 42.
It's ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous.
Off of 17 three-pointers.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, that's
taking 17 three-point attempts per game.
I want to know how many step-back threes he's taken, actually, out of that.
Probably
17.
all of them, man.
Probably 14 out of 17.
Because it's very rarely is he catching shooting. He's always dribbling the ball.
Yeah.
Late into the shot clock, lull the defense to sleep, and all of a sudden he takes a deep step back, a double step back. Sometimes a double step back. Sometimes he gets a double step back.
Apparently he's not the only player that's doing that. Everybody's doing that.
The ref ain't call it. I guess it's good. If the ref ain't call it, I guess it's good.
And then also along those lines, he's attempting more than 12 free throws per game. And also, once that 40-point streak ended, he's actually on another milestone that's even more impressive right now. 17 straight games with 30-plus points or more. And he passed Kobe, who had 16, and he's tied right now with Elgin Baylor. Wilt Chamberlain's the, I guess, only other player to do it with 20 games. So he's in some elite company right now. And there's a ton of discussion. Is this guy the MVP? Is he, even the greatest offensive player of all time? These are discussions that are being had, whether or not, legitimately or not legitimately. But let's talk about James Harden, Houston Rockets real quick, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, on that note, is this reminiscent of that Kobe run? And what I mean more specifically by this is, when was the last time you've seen a player carry a load this heavily? Because with LeBron, I think it's different. He was never expected to score as much as James Harden is. It's just we haven't seen one player dominate the offense this much since Kobe. And I'm thinking the Kobe Smush Parker years when there's literally no one else, right? It's crazy. I don't think I've seen one player take this much offense for the team.
And you know what's crazy? Like, it's the way he's doing it looks so effortlessly. Like, and maybe it's because like the number of step back threes he's taking, like,
or his free throws too, right? He gets to the line effectively.
Dude, let's be honest. That's the one thing. When this guy took 27 free throws that one game, it's like he's getting the help of the refs a lot, and not to take away from it because this guy is putting up, like most of his points are off of step backs, jump shots, and all of that. But yeah, even when Kobe did it, it looked like Kobe was exerting a lot of energy. And James Harden right now, it looks like he's doing this with ease.
Well, the thing with, Harden's obviously taking so many free throws. The thing is that people are they're pissed about it. They're like, oh, we can't watch this. This is so ugly to watch. But at the end of the day, like these are, the reason why he's getting fouled is no one can guard him.
That's true.
And he's perfected the ability to draw those fouls.
Yeah.
So, say what you will, like, is it fun to watch? I think it's definitely fun to watch, like, players try and guard him and be like, I have to foul him. Yeah. I can't do anything about it.
Or is it vice versa, though? Let me play that devil's advocate. Is that they can't guard him because they can't, like, they're going to foul him.
Is
that the reason why?
Like, there's games when he shows that they're legit foul calls.
Yeah.
Like, there are games I feel like, something? He actually is getting hacked, man. He should be at the line. But then there are also days when he's flopping like crazy. So I think it's a tough mix to just generalize.
Well,
but this stretch, though, he has been ridiculous.
I mean,
man.
he was a reason for that rip through rule, right? Where he
him
kept
and KD,
him and KD, right? And they had to change the rule for him. So, I mean, can they really change the rules because he's driving in and getting hacked? No, like he's earning. To me, he's earning those calls, and it's showing that no one can stop him, which is kind of crazy, especially when you're the other team and the ball is going to him. All the Rockets players know it's going to him.
Yeah.
They're just standing there.
His usage rate is ridiculous. Like, literally every single play has to go through him.
Yeah.
He's running the pick and roll with Clint Capella. He's running the pass out to the 3-point line. He's sucking in the defense. This guy is doing everything. And, like, based on this stretch of games, he's arguably one of the best offensive runs we've seen. But to caveat it, though, like, the rule changes this year do promote, higher usage, promotes a higher pace. So I think that comes into play a little bit here as well.
Promotes higher traveling.
A little bit of that.
You're allowed 2 step backs now.
But take nothing away, though. Like, that Golden State game, I want to highlight it for a second because that was probably, I think for me, that was the best game I watched all season. It was a hotly contested game. Golden State was all healthy. They had Draymond, Klay Thompson, Steph, KD. They were all healthy. And it was so tight. At the end of regulation, it was a tie game. It was crazy to see how much confidence James Harden had, where at the end of regulation, when it was tie game, he literally dribbled the ball to the end of the end of the shot clock, and still took a step back from literally midcourt. When he took that shot, I thought it was a terrible shot, but it just showed the level of confidence he had. And so even though he missed it, watching the overtime,
He took over.
He took over. Like I think he got to a different level.
Yeah.
Like there was a point in this season where people kind of thought this guy's the last year's MVP, but he's not. He's a shell of himself this year, right? But that one game just transcended him to the upper echelons again. Like after that blown call by the refs, it took a lot of terrible call, right? It took so much momentum away. It's a tie game in overtime, less than 24 seconds left in the shot clock. It led that out of bound pass led to a Curry 2. Right, so it puts him down 2 with like less than a full shot clock. But James Harden, man, he just stepped up, takes one of the most ridiculous shots in the face of Draymond and KD pretty much, right? And just dude, redeems himself and just took over.
The thing that's crazy is just like everyone knows what the game plan of the Rockets will be.
Just can't stop him.
And they can't stop it.
He's a lefty that with the range to shoot from anywhere, and he's crafty enough to get inside. Like he controls his ball, like he controls the ball and his body so well. Dude, that was the moment, man. I was like, this guy I think he is the best offensive player we've ever seen. Wow. I think because I think with Kobe, it was just, it's comparable to Kobe because Kobe had to work for his shots. Like Kobe had to, it's killer instinct. But with James Harden, it's honestly skill. The fact that he's a lefty.
Well, no. You're saying Kobe not skill?
I'm not saying Kobe's not skill. Okay, but there was a lot of athleticism tied with that. Whereas James Harden's
athletic too. He's strong athletic, and he's fast.
That's true. I guess
he doesn't look it, but he's fast.
That's true,
he's
but
super
I feel
athletic.
like he relies more on skill and finesse, less so on athleticism.
I'm going to disagree. Just because Kobe, like when you look at that team that he had, if he, Smush Parker's on his team, like that
True.
team was terrible.
True.
And Kobe was doing things that everyone was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And
No one had seen that,
yeah.
right?
And Harden's playing in a system that's built for him too. So I agree.
See,
I
the
agree
thing
with this.
is, with that statement, that greatest offensive player of all time, I can't necessarily give that to James Harden just because of, like we talked about, like he gets a lot of assistance from the refs. Like what I will say is he's probably the craftiest player of all time, craftiest offensive player of all time. Because like what we saw when Kobe took over, even LeBron took over, like they did through like sheer kind of will and just like they just had to like zone into focus. Versus I think like James Harden, he knows the loopholes in the games. He knows that like, hey, you could take that extra step zero. You could take that, like he knows how to get the refs to bite on those whistles. Like, and I think he uses that to his advantage like perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's not that it's anything against him, but I think because of that, the rest of his offensive game comes to him a lot easier. Like that's why he's able to exert much less energy and put up that 57 against Memphis. Like, and that's why like players are so hesitant to even come close to him when he's shooting a three, right? Like,
So instead of saying greatest player or greatest offensive player of all time, what about greatest offensive player of his era?
Yeah, I agree. He plays.
Because this is
the
a different
rules.
era, right?
It
like
is.
the
It is.
refs
Over
the
LeBron?
rule-
Yeah.
over
Again,
LeBron, because that's the benchmark.
LeBron, but
offensive
LeBron's an
player, though.
overall
only
player.
offensive
Yeah.
player.
LeBron's not.
in terms of scoring
Scoring
and setting up
ability.
teammates. Because
Scoring
I would
ability.
even say LeBron did a better job setting up his teammates.
Scoring ability.
Scoring ability. But you can't say that too because James Harden is great with the pick and roll with Clint Capella. Like he's look at his assist numbers, they're staggering, right? He's what, like 10 assists, 11 assists a game right now over the stretch. It's pretty ridiculous too. He does pass very well, right? So I think you can't
And he's
necessarily
big
take that
too,
away
right?
from
He
him.
can see over
Yeah.
any like smaller guards. He'll take advantage of that.
Yeah. But I agree with what Mitchell's saying. Like in today's era, he's mastered his game to take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Like with the rip through, with the free throws,
Right.
with like he's adjusted his game to take advantage of every aspect of the modern era's rules. And dude, all the power to him, man.
Yeah.
All the power to him.
And I think even more impressive this year, and I think like this is probably one of the fundamental differences between this year and previous years is that like Frankie, like you were talking about, like down the stretch of games, he's so locked in, and like he's always been taking these shots. Like in previous years, like I wouldn't say like his confidence has ever been this high, like because. Let's be honest, like that 3-pointer over Draymond and KD, that was a tough shot. I don't know if he would have made it any other year, but like just this year, just watching his demeanor, even like post game, even after the hitting that 3-pointer, everybody was like jumping out to celebrate. He's like, no, guys, let's regroup. One stop. We gotta like get this stop. Like he knows, I think at this point, like he's hit that mark where it's just like nothing else matters, championship or bust. He's finally like gotten there mentally, and I think that's probably the biggest shift for him.
For me, the one thing about James Harden is that when you see the shots he takes and you're like, oh, why is he taking the shot like that? Like he's dribbling out the shot clock, he's taking like a crazy contested step back three. The only other player that to me has been able to do that and you kind of ignore that is Steph.
True,
right?
true.
These two guys are to me the only ones where you're like, all right, they have carte blanche to take whatever shots they want. And as like a fan or a coach or whatever, you're like, all right, I'll take it because
he's earned
of
that.
what
Like,
they've done.
Curry's earned that, right?
Yeah.
And I agree. I think like through this stretch, James Harden put himself in that category. I would never like before this year. I thought no one can come close to the 400 3-point record of Steph Curry. But right now, James Harden is on.
Is he on pace?
He's
Yeah.
on
Are you
pace.
serious?
He's on that pace, man. He's averaging
17 threes a game.
You know what I mean?
You are
Like,
on pace.
Shoot
He's
your
on
shot.
pace.
Shoot your shot, James.
Dude, and everything is aligning for it too, right? Think about it.
Yeah.
Like Eric Gordon is out, Chris Paul is out, shot clock on offensive rebounds have decreased, right? The pace has increased. Like so many factors are contributing to more scoring, and the path is led right now for James Harden to break that record.
Clint's out. Now.
So let me ask you guys. So then, now that we know the Rockets are riddled with injuries, how much longer can James Harden sustain this? Because
That's
let's
the
be
ultimate
honest,
question.
they're fourth in the West. This guy's exerting a ton of energy. I would say even to carry this ball club. Like he's gonna have to give them everything they have, even to just make the playoffs.
True.
Like and he's got especially in the West too, right? We know how things fluctuate.
with all the injuries they have,
And like the last question, I guess, like that's still with James Harden, like that remains to be seen is like, can he finish it off in the playoffs? Because he has a tendency to gas out in the playoffs. We've seen
That's
this,
true.
right? Like
So on that, I remember that specifically that Golden State game he played. Even though at the end of OT, I felt like Golden State was pretty exhausted. James Harden at the end of that game still looks so fresh. And I think that's a credit to his conditioning. Like he talked a lot about how he's really changed up his body this year. He's gotten in better shape. He's mentally ready too. And I think to all your points, he's in his prime. This dude is in his prime right now.
Well, he also gets to rest 22 seconds
Exactly.
at the time.
Yes, and the way he's efficient, right? He's getting to the line a lot, right? He gets the rest when he's shooting free throws. The question of can he sustain it though? That's going to be the key one. I don't think he needs to go 100% to make the playoffs because the Rockets are still a solid team. They'll make the playoffs. But I still don't think he can repeat that effort over 7 games against a good team. Like it's unreal. You can't expect that from anybody.
I think with to Ben's point of they're in the West and they're right in the middle of it, and like yes, they're in the playoff race right now.
Yeah.
But you could have like a bad week,
That's
2 weeks,
true.
and you're out.
They're only one game ahead of 8th seed.
Yeah,
right, which is crazy. They're only one game.
And the
ahead of
fact
8th seed.
now that Clint's out, and they're not going to rush back CP3. Probably shouldn't rush back Eric Gordon. So realistically, I would think that he has to sustain this for at least the next few weeks. He has to, and whether he can do that, I don't know. But again, I didn't think that he'd come back from that playoff series with this type of the endurance that he's showing now and like over the stretch. So I think he can. I think it'll be exciting to watch if he can do it. But I do think that he can. I think he's turned a corner, especially with the conditioning. I think he can do it.
I'm just worried that like he's going so hard right now that like it's tough, man. Because you're right. Like hopefully CP3 and Eric Gordon come back sooner rather than later. But like this guy's just doing everything for them.
He's doing everything.
And like you hear about like all the conditioning stuff that he's doing. Like he's doing some like crazy like military like running up and down like stadium stairs and everything. And like to credit to him because like he's putting in the work. But I'm like everything that he does, it's adding more wear and tear to his body.
Well, he's 29 years old,
Yeah, and he's fresh now, but we're halfway through the season. So like who knows? Like I think this thing obviously there's no clear-cut answer. Like we're just kind of see this plays out, but no, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. James Harden right now,
dude, he earned the Mo buckets of the week, man.
Is he the leading candidate for MVP?
I would say so. Compared to the other candidates, I would say he is.
It's tough, man.
There's no one else on his team right now.
There's no one else on the team, and his success is speaking a lot. You know what I mean? The fact that he's been able to bring his team back to playoff contention the way they have to turn it
like,
around.
Not to take anything away from like PJ Tucker, Daniel House,
Gerald Green,
Not Daniel House, yo.
or
Come
Austin
on,
Rivers.
man. Daniel House.
Austin Rivers.
Yo, okay. To be fair, Rivers has been balling. He's been playing well. He's been playing
balling.
well.
Okay, he's serving his role. Okay, I don't want to say he's balling. Okay, he's passing the ball well. Okay, I'll say that.
But yeah, no. Compared to like, I would say it's him and Giannis that are.
Those are the two.
Like,
I agree.
I would say like up to this point, I thought there was no chance he was going to repeat MVP, but this stretch is just putting him back up there, man. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
He's definitely back in that conversation, yeah. I still kind of like Giannis a little bit just because Bucks are number 2, and it looks like they may stay in that top 2 race in the East. But like you said, man, just if James Harden keeps this up, it's hard to deny him.
If he's averaging over 40 points a game, you cannot
Okay,
deny him.
but the thing is, like, yo, Frankie, you know this, man. Was it rule of gravity? What goes up must come down?
Yo, we'll see,
It's
man.
gonna come down. It's just a matter of how long can he
What
stay
if
up there.
this is not his peak? What if there's more?
What if Mystic Mitch, Magic Mitch going
What
back
if
to
there's
Mystic
more?
Mitch, man, predicting all these things.
Is calling it, man. All right, cool. So, yo, James Harden, man, yo, this guy's been unreal. He's getting the Mo buckets of the week. On the flip side, we got the no buckets of the week. This one's a tough one, man. The Los Angeles Lakers. These guys have lost 2 straight. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. And we know ever since the departure of LeBron James, these guys have slipped. I think they were, 4th in the West? Now they've already dropped out of the playoff race. They're 9th in the West. And the thing is with LeBron, he still doesn't have a set timetable to return. Like, we know they're going to reevaluate him within a week. And this already has been the longest that he's been out. So essentially the worst injury of his career. And because of that, obviously, their offense is taking a dip. They're now ranked 22nd, actually, in the league. Their defense is still holding down the fort at 6th in the league. But if you're the Lakers, you're looking at, like all this talk about, hey, who's available, in terms of trade. We know the trade deadline is February 7th. should the Lakers actively look to try to make a move? Because, you don't know if LeBron goes down with another injury or like how severe this injury is. Is this a cause of concern for the Lakers, and do they need to shake things up?
I think LeBron being out, obviously it sucks because this is worst injury of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But the one silver lining in it is that all the young players are being showcased right now. Mm-hmm. So Kuzma, he had like 41 points a few games ago.
Yeah,
agreed.
Great, pump up those values because I do think that the Lakers need to make some sort of trade. Mm-hmm. If they want to compete this year, which I believe they should, just because LeBron's not getting any younger, they got to do something. They have LeBron for 4 years. Yep. Don't waste what you have.
Prime LeBron.
Like, just honest, getting to the playoffs, that's definitely a goal. There's no reason to tank, and even though they might be they know they're not going to win this year per se, getting to the playoffs is great experience for their young guys. And to Mitchell's point, you're right. In LeBron's absence, it's given the young guys a chance to step up. Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball.
Andre's gone.
Yo, bring him back.
No, but you know what I mean? Though, like,
where is he though? Where is Andre Ingram?
Yo,
he should be in the league.
He
should be.
He played.
Maybe he's on the G League.
He's still in the G League. I'm pretty sure.
Yo, non-story, man. I hate to say, shout out to him. He had a good run, man. But that was pretty much.
That was magical, man. Bring him back.
Yo, but like to Mitchell's point again, right? Like these young guys, they're getting the chance to step up, and I think for me, before the season even started, I expected them to make a trade regardless. Right? Because it's not about this year. It's about the years coming up.
So,
I mean, if you look at the roster, they do have pieces to trade. Like, what they're going to do, I think is still yet to be said or yet to be seen. But they're definitely going to make a trade happen.
who would you go for?
It's not even who would go for. I might go for picks to stockpile for
Anthony
next
Davis.
year. I don't know if you'd make a trade this year. I think you might trade for pieces now in preparation for a big trade in the offseason.
But these are their pieces, right? Like, if you look at their salary cap, they can't sign anybody.
They can't.
What they have is what they have at this point.
But I think you can kind of turn some of these assets into picks for the future
But
years.
if you turn them into picks, so this is the thing, right?
You're
You
just
turn them
turning into
picks.
rebuilding mode.
Yeah.
You gotta go to.
You're wasting
now.
LeBron.
I
You
disagree.
gotta go
You trade them for for these future picks so that this offseason you can take those picks and maybe a player or two for an Anthony Davis per se. You know what I mean? Like these superstars is not all about players for players. It's about players and future, right? And I think that's what's going to be enticing. If you can say, something, we're going to give you Kyle Kuzma and a future first-round pick for your star player, that's much more compelling than Kyle Kuzma and, I don't know, Lonzo Ball. I would take a first-round pick over Lonzo Ball, to be honest. Right? Like, or a lot of teams that don't need a point guard, right? Because he doesn't always fit with every system. A point guard that doesn't shoot, whereas a Kyle Kuzma is a solid piece for a lot of teams, right? And that's why I think if you can stockpile some trades right now at the deadline for some future picks, that can be a great package.
But then you're writing off the entire season.
You're not writing off the entire season.
You are.
You don't
Because-
need some of these guys, man. Like,
because you're not getting anything back for this season.
I don't know if you necessarily need pieces.
You're already
back for this
because the
season
thing
to
is, you're
make
already
it work.
looking. If you do those types of moves, you're already looking towards the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
You
You're
are
not looking towards playoffs.
You know they're not going to win this year, though. Like, to be real,
But if the goal that you just said is to make the playoffs,
I think they can still make the playoffs. Minus one or two pieces, LeBron can still take you to the playoffs. I still think so. You
Dude,
tell me.
Have you not seen who they're losing to?
Yeah, you tell me
These
right
guys are
now.
the Cavs.
Struggling.
Okay, you tell me if they
They
take
lost to
out
the
Brandon
Cavs.
Ingram.
The
Like,
Cavs.
they lost
But
to
that's
the
without
worst team
LeBron
in the
James.
league.
That's without LeBron.
Yeah, but how much? So that's the thing, though. Okay, so one, that talks about how great LeBron is, obviously, how valuable he is. But two, that also exposes them in terms of like the rest of this team. Like, here's the thing. Like, I agree with Mitch that like you do need to make a trade. Like, I think the most disappointing thing out of all of this is like I would say Brandon Ingram is the one player that I think everybody kind of expected to take that like next level up, and like. We've seen glimpses of Kyle Kuzma like dropping 41 in 3/4. We've seen glimpses of Lonzo Ball. Like Brandon Ingram is still the player that, like, I don't know if the Lakers are still banking that he's gonna come around maybe second half of the season and like be that second or third scorer for them. But like, if he doesn't, you have a lot of holes on this team, man.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say.
And
though,
even
right?
with LeBron, I don't think they can make the playoffs.
But
like-
I feel like that's my point, though, right? Like right now, Brandon Ingram isn't a needle mover, right? But if you trade him now for a pick, he can make that pick can make a big difference next year. And even without Brandon Ingram right now, I think they still have a chance at the playoffs. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's a quick bounce. That's a quick bounce in the playoffs.
They're on a quick bounce anyways, man. I hate to say it. Like, let's be real. They're not going to beat the top three teams of the West. They're just too stacked, man.
I think if you have LeBron on your team, you got to go for a proven talent. So going for picks, sounds great in theory, but realistically, if you're LeBron James and you see front office trading away young talent to get a pick, what does that tell you if you're LeBron?
But if you believe in magic and he's going to turn that pick into a big piece
So
later.
LeBron's 34. Realistically, even if you had, so say you traded Lonzo or Kuzma for like a first round pick. Because realistically, that's what you're probably going to get, right?
I would say Brandon
And you
Ingram. I would say Brandon Ingram.
So say you have Brandon
Brandon Ingram
Ingram
for a
and you
first-round
trade
pick.
Brandon Ingram in a first round pick.
No, 4 first round pick. So you get a first round pick
Okay,
back.
so then you're trading. So say you're going after Anthony Davis.
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So next year, you've got a pick and you've got Kyle Kuzma and you've got Lonzo Ball available for trade for one Anthony Davis.
Why would Pelicans do that? If I was the Pelicans, I'd be like, sorry, no, because that's a terrible trade. That's terrible value you're getting back for
You have
Anthony
2
Davis.
young rookies and a potential first round pick.
If the Pelicans made a trade like that, they're basically saying we're done in New Orleans, we're gone, because there's no way that Kuzma and Lonzo Ball are making that team stay in New Orleans. They're not a
They're
superstar.
not competitive.
They're not going to be the superstars that Anthony Davis is to keep a franchise in a city that's struggling. To me, I think you have to just you have these young players right now. Brandon Ingram's he just turned 21, same age as Lonzo. Kuzma's 23. Like you gotta take these players and see what you can get now. Realistically, they can make the argument with teams. It's like, hey, well, they're playing with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Some of their skills are going to get overshadowed, so you still don't really know what you could have, really.
And the thing with Brandon Ingram now is like I think this period where he should be showcasing himself, like it's making a lot of teams like second guess like what his true like I guess potential is, right? Because like he's not dominating games that he should. Like early on there's the comparisons with KD and like given his frame and everything, but yeah, down the stretch he's not really taking over games that he should, and it's tough, man. Like it's hard to convince if I'm a GM out there for me to give up a first round pick for Brandon Ingram. Like I don't know how much value like he gives. I don't know if you can build a team around him.
Listen, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just think the Lakers should make a trade. Leading into the season, my expectation was they were gonna make a trade in preparation for an even bigger trade at the offseason. Because I think that's why LeBron signed a 4-year plan, right? He believes in the long term.
Who's that big piece you think they would get?
What are the qualities they need? So obviously
Leonard?
we know shooters. They need shooters. Like I think picking up Tyson Chandler was
They
a
just
good
need a star.
kind of
Okay, they don't honestly. I think they can still build around whatever they need, but realistically, they need that second star to pair beside LeBron.
Do you think Ingram or Kuzma or Ball can be that?
No, not in the time frame. Not in the time frame that LeBron needs to win.
I think that Ingram, he's still so young. He has all the physical tools. I do think that he can there's still potential. I don't think he can be written off as he'll never be a star.
But But do you think within the 4 years of LeBron's?
I mean, again, he's only 21, right? There's no matter what. If you look in past teams that LeBron has joined, there's always been this transition period for the star players that were already on that team. Look at with Bosch. Bosch didn't know what to do. Look at Kevin Love. They didn't know how to play together, right?
Even Kyrie.
And even Kyrie. Yeah. So there was always that transition period, and LeBron's never had a player like Ingram where he's so young still. True. Even like Ingram, Lonzo, Kuzma, they're all really young. So who knows? But I do think that they do have to do something because it's obvious that this roster as constructed and as is, they're not going to beat the Warriors. They're not beating probably not beating Houston. Yeah. Who knows what they're Who knows what you're going to do?
Yeah. So that's why, like, in my view, I don't think it's a cause for concern. They need to make a trade, but they don't need to blow it up, right? The expectations coming into the season was not to win a championship. I think to make the playoffs is good enough. First round bounce. I think that's what's expected. They can get to the second round, great. But if they get to the playoffs, that's already a win in itself.
You know who's going to save them?
Who's going to save them?
Andre Ingram.
Andre
3000 come back.
Call him up, yeah.
Let's go. Okay, cool. So Lakers, y'all get the no buckets of the week. Let's move on now. We got so let's talk about the Wizards, man. These guys they're such an interesting team, man. It's everybody wrote them off early on. We talked about how they're just a disappointment this season. Then John Wall goes down. He's out for the season after undergoing surgery, dealing with a chronic Achilles tendon injury in his left heel. That's pretty dangerous. That's pretty scary for
I think
his
it's the
career.
same thing that Mike Conley had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't even know. Like, obviously, he's out for the season. Hopefully, he comes back healthy. But then, everybody's like, okay, so Wizards are done for the season. But then they start bouncing back. So with John Wall, their record was 14-23. Without John Wall, they're 4-3 now, which is interesting. With like impressive wins against OKC, Philly, Milwaukee, and then even pushing Toronto to 2 overtime. So like Bradley Beal's kind of reemerged along the same time frame, and he's been balling out. He's been straight balling out. So it's one of those things where like if you're the Wizards, like are you still trying to look to trade Bradley Beal? Like are you still trying to look to like kind of blow this team up? Like obviously they brought in Ariza. I guess with John Wall now, like you can't move him because of the injury. Like what do you guys do if you're the Wizards, or do you continue to try to see what happens? Do they turn this around?
Yo, Ben, I'm going to keep it real with you. You can't do anything, okay? John Wall and the Washington Wizards will go hand in hand for the next decade, pretty much, man. This guy is scheduled for $38 million next year, growing to $47 million by the end of the 2022-2023 year. Okay, John Wall, go get money, $47 million. Like, there's no way this contract is going to get moved. As much as I love John Wall, no other team is going to take that price. It's unreasonable. Like especially after this injury now, I don't see any other team willing to pay $38 million for him
that's
next
fair.
year.
That's fair. But let me ask you, realistically speaking and unbiasedly speaking, because we know you love John Wall, are the Wizards better without John Wall? Because let's be honest, they're 4-3.
Man. They're not
4-3 without John Wall.
Every season, they go through a lull where John Wall gets injured, and the team kind of plays better without him. That happened with what's his face, Gortat. He was like talking trash to him.
Everybody eats.
Everyone eats, and it's true, right? Like the way John Wall plays is not the most pretty. Okay, he's a ball dominant player as a point guard, and he can't necessarily shoot the three, so he needs the ball a lot. He takes a lot of inside jumpers. It's not the most beautiful game, but this guy is an athlete, man. When you see him in vintage games,
trash.
Dude, when you see John Wall in marquee matchups, he really steps up. The only downfall of John Wall, I would say, is that he's not consistent. The only downside.
Yo, Frankie, did you see that video clip where it's like of John Wall, like when your PS4 controller breaks? This guy literally stood at the top of the key. He passed the ball, and he didn't move
that
for
was
15
the game plan.
seconds.
Okay, you can blame that on the coach, okay? That was how it was drawn up, okay? Pass the ball and stay in the corner, okay? I think that's kind of a problem with today's league, but regardless, John Wall is still a great player. I hope he comes back healthy off this injury.
So what do you do if you're Washington?
But the
you just
truth
ride
is,
it out?
you can't do anything. There's nothing you can do with John Wall's contract. He's stuck.
Okay, not with John Wall. What about Beal and the other guys? Auto
Wait,
So
do you know what they
that-
should? Do you know what they should have done? And what would be amazing for the Wizards right now is if they still had the amnesty clause in the CBA. So just looked at it. The latest CBA was signed last year, and it runs until 2023.
So they can use that on him?
So they can. There's no amnesty clause in the new CBA.
Oh, there's no.
there's
Oh,
none.
shoot.
It was only for like a certain amount of time, so they can't go back and get rid of that.
You
contract.
can't amnesty. At the end of the day, John Wall's still a good player, okay? But the question is,
You just said
just
he's
said-
gonna be making $47
At the end of that year.
million dollars.
who knows? What if John gets healthy, okay? Comes back to his best form, maybe adds, a
Isn't he
three-point
already
shot a
what,
little bit
29,
better.
30? This guy's not getting any younger, and this guy's already got Achilles tendon injuries.
Yo, but that's just the nature
Especially
of the
for
game,
an athlete,
man.
like that's tough to bounce
To
back.
be fair, this was more preventative. This wasn't a tear. This was more of a preventative measure. So I'm hoping that he comes back even healthier and even
He's
stronger.
28.
It's 28.
So
Okay.
John Wall is entering his prime right now. Okay, this is his prime. The price tag associated with his name, you're right, is quite hefty. But I think if you're the Wizards, you ride it out. Right? If you are going to trade him, it's going to be a very lopsided trade, and it'll never be in your favor.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you just stick it out with John Wall. The other pieces they have, Bradley Beal and Otto Porter, I think this is where it can get exciting. Bradley Beal, like you mentioned, he's been stepping up in the stretch, man. He's a solid 2-guard in the league, shoots very well from the 3, can pass the ball. I think there's a lot of teams that will be willing to make a trade for him.
You know who should go for him?
The Toronto
No, I was gonna say
Raptors.
I was gonna say the Lakers.
Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
true,
okay.
true.
Lakers
Like
not bad.
perfect type of player to pair with.
Yeah, LeBron. That's
Yeah.
not bad,
Yeah,
actually.
he's a shooter.
Not bad. His contract's not bad, right? 27, like 25,
You know
25
what they should
mil?
do? They should go for Lonzo to replace their point guard that we already have.
What? I don't know if they could do it, but hey, he might not be bad playing off John Wall, but I don't see the two of them playing together well, man. 2 point guards that can't shoot threes. That's
But Bradley Beal to Lakers, that's actually very
that's
interesting.
not a bad mix, man. If they can get like a Kyle Kuzma off that, that actually might not be a bad deal for both sides.
Or like an Ingram,
Or get Ingram, yeah.
right? Like, but to your point about Toronto, I know there's been a lot of talk about Beal going to Toronto. Realistically, so as a Toronto fan, I'd be like, yeah, I'd love to have Bradley Beal on the team.
But at what cost?
At what cost?
That's
Exactly.
True. Who knows? Maybe they can buy it at a discount, right? Like at this point, I feel like Washington's kind of at a tenuous point.
But I don't. That's the thing, right? Like teams know that. Yeah, they're stuck with John Wall. Most likely, they're like, well, they're not going to be making many moves to try and really, really contend for a title. So realistically, though, that kind of to me, I would be like, well, Washington can't really part with Bradley Beal if they want to stay somewhat competitive.
true.
They can't get rid of him because they can't start tanking. Because again, at the end of the day,
Bradley Beal besides John Wall.
you still have John Wall making $47 million. So realistically, I the only trade that I would see Washington wanting from Toronto is getting Siakam back.
Yeah.
And as a Toronto fan, I don't think that will ever happen.
So what were the proposed trades? I think there was like talks about possibly Siakam and OG plus some salary players and like maybe 2 future first round picks. That's a lot.
That's too much.
That's a lot.
But
With
And or
Siakam?
I think they were even talking about trying to include JV in that.
but can you imagine though the
Not
trio?
Siakam though. Not Siakam.
But can you imagine the trio of Kyle Lowry, Bradley Beal, and Kawhi Leonard? That would be a 3-headed monster, yeah. That would be a legit.
So okay, here's my knock against Raptors going for Bradley Beal. Yes, this guy's exciting. Yes, he can create, he can shoot. That's all great. But Raptors, they're stacked at the wings already. There's already a logjam. You got Kawhi, you got Danny Green, you got Norm Powell who's been coming on late. You got DeLon who
Fred
can play the
VanVleet.
2. Yeah, like you got so many
have a
wing
lot of
players. And then
But why are we
CJ's
struggling
trash,
from the shooting?
but
Why
still.
are we struggling from the 3-point line?
We are first in the NBA still.
Yet we fall to late game ISOs that are like really sporadic.
It's
That's
the
system.
rise and fall of Kyle Lowry, yo. Frankie, you know this. Lowry is the problem. I don't think us getting another wing player, like I get it, like he can help us create down the stretch, but if you have to give up a Siakam or a JV, one of your bigs who's clearly one of our like distinct advantages when we play against like Eastern powerhouses or whatever, like that's a lot to give up.
I give up JV
for another.
For Bradley Beal, I
Sure.
give up JV.
Sure, but if you're Washington, you take JV? No way.
JV plus OG, JV
I
plus
still
OG.
don't
Yo,
think
who
that
says no?
happens. Washington, they will for sure go for Siakam, and there's no way that Messiah will get rid of Siakam like that.
Like taking all facts into account, I agree. Like the asking price for Bradley Beal will probably be pretty high. In today's league, he is a great addition to any team. A shooting guard that can shoot well from the 3-point line, pass dribble, and he guards pretty well too, right? So that's going to be a tough one. Like to conclude on Washington, I think they're set for a period of mediocrity. It kind of sucks because there's nothing you can do with John Wall, and he's injured, right? There's nothing you can really do. If I were them, I'd probably try to flip Bradley Beal and Otto Porter for some assets. But like you guys mentioned, man, that's what they need with John Wall, right? So I don't see.
Unless they start, you know what they could do? They could, be like, okay, for the next 5 years with John Wall, let's just accumulate assets. Once he's off the books,
man. You can't pay someone $40-something million a year and expect to tank.
But then that's the thing: get out of the luxury tax, stop paying these really big salaries to Beal and Porter, and focus on the future. Realistically, to me, like that's what they should do. But who knows if they will?
Yo, I'm gonna make a crazy prediction right now.
What you saying?
Wizards without John Wall, they're gonna go on a run, and they're gonna battle for the 8th playoff spot in the East.
Yo, Ben, you gotta stop smoking that stuff, man. Yo, what are you talking about, bro?
I'm making a prediction
Washington
right now.
without John Wall getting to the
Yo,
playoffs.
they've already shown glimpses, man.
They're better without John Wall.
Yo,
They
you're
are
crazy.
better, yo.
Y'all crazy.
Everybody eats. They've already beaten OKC, Philly,
Dude,
Milwaukee.
it's been 7
and
games.
pushing.
It's only been 7 games.
That's
man.
my prediction.
Just
They're gonna
wait.
go. They're gonna go on a run, and they're gonna push for the that 8th spot.
All right, so let's wrap that one up, man. On to other players that are having rumored trades around the league. Dennis Smith Jr. He's currently in an odd spot. The Dallas Mavericks have been surging this year with the onset of one Luka Doncic. This rookie has really stepped up, and I think to a lot of people's surprises, like they're really like this kid's stepping up. This kid is the future. And I think if you're Dallas, there's no doubt that you're going to invest in this kid moving forward. And that at the point guard position leaves Dennis Smith with what? Odd position to be in. He's not sure when his minutes are going to come, and he's not sure what the focus is going to be. And I think, personally, Dennis Smith Jr. is a solid player. He's got a lot of upside. He's a solid point guard. But the problem is he's just not fitting with the Dallas system. So if you're Dallas, what are you going to do? You have this rising young rookie in Luka Doncic, and you've also got this, semi all-star, on the verge of becoming a better player, Dennis Smith Jr.
Semi all-star. Whoa,
I'm telling you, man, this kid can be an all-star. Dennis Smith
Frankie,
Jr.
What you smoking, bro?
He's got 2 ACLs, man. That's what I'm talking about. This kid is a freak athlete in his own right. Okay, and I think if you give him the opportunity, he can really step up and shine. But if you're Dallas, what are you going to do? You can't play 2 point guards. And he doesn't necessarily pair well with Luka on the floor either. So if I'm Dallas, man, I would definitely look to make a trade.
And he doesn't shoot well enough for a 2.
But he's still young, man. He's still young.
young.
Right?
21.
He's still young.
Yeah.
He's 21. Again, super athletic. I think this kid's got a lot of upside. So if you're Dallas, what would you do with Dennis Smith?
I think he for sure has upside, but to your point, I don't think that if Luka's your main ball handler, and we saw how they played with Dennis Smith Jr. last year, and he was handling the ball every single possession. I think the thing is with this is that I think there's been too few games together with Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka Doncic to really decide, okay, this is not going to work. Rumors are coming out though that this is more coming from Dennis Smith Jr. That they're open to trades. They're open to the new situation. And I think that if you're Dennis Smith Jr., if you want to be the star that you think you can be, you're not going to be that beside Luka. Luka will always overshadow him.
True.
And I think maybe that's what's kind of pushing this to happen. I don't know. I think that if you are the Mavs, though, the thing that sucks is that this is all getting leaked out. Because now your leverage as the Mavs goes down. Because now okay, this guy kind of wants out.
He just called in sick, yo. That's all.
He just called in sick.
The flu virus got him.
But the thing that's also kind of weird to me is that, I think it's been too few games together. And if you kind of think about how Luka plays, he's willing to pass the ball. And he's taking those step back threes and he can shoot. But he's definitely willing to give it up as well. And I don't know. I think that they can still make it work. I'm hoping that this kind of resolves itself and we get at least this until the end of the season to see what they can do together. Because, again, he's only 21.
True. And I think with the recent J.J. Barea injury, it kind of opens up a little bit of a window for Dennis Smith.
True.
Wesley Matthews, actually, he hasn't been the same since the Achilles injury, but this year he has been looking better, right? So I think that's why there's been a little bit of a logjam at the guard spot. But again, with J.J. Barea, out for the season, shout out to J.J. Hope he gets healthier. Dennis Smith, maybe this is the chance to kind of spark up those minutes and to give that interaction with Luka.
Well, the rumored teams that are interested in him are Orlando Magic and the Phoenix Suns. And realistically, I think he'd be perfect fit on both of those teams. The only thing is if you're the Mavs, are you going to get back equal value for what Dennis Smith Jr. could be?
You know who would be a really good trade? Dennis Smith for Nikola Vucevic. That
why would Orlando ever do that?
The rumor they're trying to trade him. The rumor is they're trying to trade him
point
out.
guard.
The rumor is Magic are trying to trade Vucevic, and
You trade Vucevic, then it frees up minutes for Mo Bamba.
yeah, Mo Bamba, maybe and you probably Dennis Smith and a pick, right? Dennis Smith and a pick for Vucevic might not be bad.
Okay, so here's my question with Dennis Smith Jr. So I know he's 21. I know he's got potential, tons of potential, but
He's also got 2 ACLs, bro.
Just one now.
He just lost one, bro. He just lost one. Have you seen enough glimpses of him actually realizing this potential over the course of a year and a half? Because I'm gonna be honest, watching him play, yes, he's got great ups. His 3-point shooting isn't great. He's only shooting 37% from the 3-point line. His mid range is decent, but he's not he's one of those players that's kind of he's kind of like a combo guard. He slashes a lot, so you can kind of slot him at a 2, but he doesn't shoot enough. He doesn't shoot well enough to be a full 2. He doesn't, he's not a great passer to be a 1. So it's kind of what kind of system would you even put him in?
You know who he's kind of like? he's like young Russell Westbrook. Okay, and at the time when Russell Westbrook wasn't a great shooter, wasn't a great decision maker, but super athletic. I think that's kind of what.
But he
Dennis
doesn't
Smith
have
is right
the motor that Westbrook had. Like Westbrook was
I-
raw.
no, what-
like-
now. I would disagree. Dennis has got that motor. Like I think it's similar to Westbrook's early years, right? Like wasn't a great decision maker, wasn't the most skilled, relied a lot on athleticism. That's what we're seeing with Dennis Smith now. Can he mature? Can he craft his skill set to get to that upside? That I don't know. And I don't think in the Dallas system, I don't think that system does not enable him to get better.
It's true.
I think that's kind of the biggest problem. Like even if he has the upside, he's not going to reach that upside in the Dallas system.
I think he has to be the ball dominant guard on a team for him to be
To
you
reach
know,
his potential.
If his potential is Russell Westbrook, which I don't think he is,
I'm not saying it's that high either, but it reminds me of that style of game.
and Ben, to your point about has he shown enough that he can shoot? Has he shown enough that he can make these passes? No, I don't think he has to be to be the top point guard in one of the top point guards in the league. But the thing is that if you look at all the point guards now, they all can drive, they can shoot, they can make plays. So it's not necessarily he has to be the best at any of those skills at playmaking or shooting, but he has to be able to do all of it.
True.
So which I think he has shown the potential he can do. It's just it's tough kind of now I think to figure out what's the best team for him.
Yeah. Or that, like, and you talked about it earlier, is like, maybe it's better for the Mavs to just kind of hang on to him, drive up his value, see if maybe he comes on in the second half of the season, and just like, because I agree with you. There's no real rush to trade him right now.
Agreed. I don't think there's a rush either, but I think we've clearly seen with the emergence of Luka Doncic, Dennis Smith, he won't realize the potential in this lineup, man.
Do you think it'd be fun if he got traded to Orlando from Mo Bamba, and then you just saw alley oops from
Luka, hey,
from
that's
Luka
not bad
to
either.
Mo Bamba?
Mo Bamba
And
might be
DJ?
that one too.
DJ be gone. It's only 1 year, but he'll be gone. But like, I want to see Luka play with a super athletic or like super just like a freak of nature type of athlete that can catch everything that Luka.
That's
can throw
true.
Up.
If only DeAndre signed with the Mavs a couple years
He
ago.
actually might, to be honest. Like, he looks like DeAndre seems like he's having fun, man. And with seeing how good he is, I can see agents wanting to play for Dallas, right? He's this young up and comer. Mark Cuban is a great owner. Dallas is a pretty solid market. Tax is great. Like that might be a hot free agent destination spot coming up, man. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So on the topic of Luka Doncic, who I believe will be a future All-Star, and he's also one of the top leading vote getters right now.
We're going straight into this.
We're going right into
Straight
it.
into this.
So second round of All-Star voting came out. Any big surprises to you guys? I mean, Jeremy Lin's in there. Vince kind of dropped
Vince
down
Carter.
from
up
where he
there.
was. Derrick Rose is second, I think, for the guards.
I was happy to see Derrick Rose up there.
Benny-
Rose.
But like, any surprises? And on top of surprises, who would you guys put as your All-Star starters for each conference?
Top five. Top
five for
Well, let's start with the East. Let's start with the East.
Let's start with these, Ben. What do you got?
All right. My five. We got to start with MVP candidate Giannis. We're going 3 forwards and 2 guards, right?
Yeah, just start.
All right,
Just go for 1 to
Start
5.
with-
Start with 1 to 5. Who's your point guard?
Point guard. I'm going Kemba.
Kemba's your point guard?
Kemba's my point guard because one, it's in Charlotte, so let's get some rep in.
Well, that's true. Home
And,
team.
and- yeah, and 2, he's been playing well, man. He's like this kid's been balling. Like
He has been
he's-
balling.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So he's my PG. Number 2, I'm going with Ben Simmons. He's my shooting guard.
What?
Second guard, I'm
going.
going. I'm
All
going.
All
Ben
right, keep
Simmons.
going.
And then my 3 forwards, I'm going with Giannis, Kawhi, and Joel Embiid.
All right.
Okay. For
Frankie?
me, at the 1, you got to go with Kyrie Irving. There's no doubt, man. Kyrie Irving at the 1. There's no doubt. He's the best point guard in the
Boston's
East.
struggling.
Don't matter. Kyrie's the best point guard in the East, okay? The question is, at number 2, I had to go with Victor Oladipo. Like, it was going to be
he was
Kemba,
up there,
but
yeah.
I was like, you can't, like, honestly, I can kind of see Kemba edging it, especially for the fact that you're right. They're in Charlotte. I can kind of see that happening. But yeah, 3, 4, 5, I had Kawhi, Giannis, and Embiid. I think the notable snub I had out was Ben Simmons, actually. I actually don't think he'll be on the starting lineup.
No, I don't think so either. So I was pretty similar to Frankie. I had Kyrie, point guard. I have Kemba
With the two?
The two?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the two. I
I
mean,
can
two
kinda see
guards. It's two guards.
Yeah,
It
it's
is,
tough,
yeah.
man. It's tough.
And then I think everyone's gonna have Kawhi, Giannis, and Embiid.
Mhm.
And then for my notable, so the first one that I've called out as like a notable snub from the starting lineup would be Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, same.
I have Ben Simmons as well, just
Yeah.
because he's putting up pretty good numbers, and if he can actually shoot a jump shot,
Yeah.
he'll be up.
But
there.
is he classified as a guard or a forward?
He's
Here-
a point guard.
here
He's
he
a
is
point
a
guard.
guard.
As a guard?
Yeah.
All right. Like,
Guard in a force body.
So the
Yeah.
one thing is, so obviously Kawhi, Giannis, Embiid, for sure, those are three top
Yeah.
front court.
Locked.
But if any of them fall out due to injury, I would say Blake Griffin needs to be in there.
True.
Blake is
He's
having
been
a
playing
career
really
He's
well.
having a
Yeah,
career
it's true.
season right
He
now.
is,
That's
he is.
true.
He has to be in there, right?
But Dallas, Detroit's been trash though. Like they
yeah,
just.
but they're still
he's
in
putting
the
up
playoff
numbers,
race.
man.
He's putting up numbers. He's putting
Yeah.
unreal numbers right now.
They're
I
2
will
games
give him
back
that.
out of the 8th spot.
But they just don't seem to be like they don't seem to be having fun. It's weird. When you watch
Wayne
Detroit
Casey.
play, it's weird, right? Like yeah, he has great numbers, but they just don't seem to be having fun. But yeah, I agree, man. Like if anyone deserves based on numbers, it is probably Blake on the East right now.
We're forgetting another notable sub.
What, Kyle Lowry?
Your boy, 6 man.
Oh,
Dwayne.
Dwayne.
Come
So
on,
I really hope he gets put on the All-Star game this year.
One
'cause
last
it is the
dance,
last dance, man.
man.
And whoever is, maybe Victor Oladipo or Kemba, they might give the respect.
No
to
way.
Dwayne Wade. You don't think
No
he deserves
way.
that?
He's not a Jordan. He's
no.
not Michael Jordan.
It's not Kobe. Wait, didn't Kobe
It
get
was
the?
Vince gave it up for Jordan.
But
Yeah,
didn't-
that was the only time. That was the only
Didn't
time.
Kobe also get starting line? Did Kobe get starting in his last year?
I think he got voted in.
No,
I
but
think
did
it
he-
wasn't a coach's thing.
No, but did he get starting lineup?
I don't remember.
I don't know if he.
Yeah, Kobe would have, but Kobe was good until
But
until he got injured.
tell me
right?
D Wade ain't. You don't think D
But
Wade?
the thing is, if D
Nah.
Wade gets voted into starting lineup, then yeah, it's gonna be either Walker or Simmons
Fans
gets
only
them,
have
or Oladipo.
50%.
I don't
vote.
think you get voted into starting lineup. You just get voted into the game. But I think coaches still decide who's the top
It's
five.
coaches and players
Yeah,
that have the
players.
vote. The
Yeah.
other 50% of the vote, right?
You telling me the?
I just want to see D Wade go one more time, man.
yeah, but you tell me if you're Victor Oladipo or Kemba Walker, you tell me you're gonna give it up to D Wade?
No, man.
No
No,
way.
Dude, he is.
Yo,
Yo,
wouldn't it
Flash.
be Kemba's first All Star? I think it would be, right?
No, he's been All Star before,
But the thing is,
but not starter.
it's in Charlotte. This is
Yeah,
hometown.
You can't.
That's
So it's just gonna be Victor.
There's
yo.
no way. Jordan won't let that happen.
Yo, I'm
Jordan's
pretty
just
sure.
gonna step on. It's like, all right, come on. If you're giving enough,
But we all think D Wade he will make the All Star game though. I'm pretty sure he'll make the
think
All Star game.
I want to say yes. He's got he's outside shot.
So that's the thing. If he makes it in, realistically, the two guards that he'd be taking spots of
Bradley
would be
Beal.
either be Bradley Beal or Kyle Lowry. I don't think he should take any of those spots.
Yo, Kyle Lowry, man.
I don't
you
think
kidding?
Kyle Lowry should be. in.
I don't
kidding
think
me?
Kyle. He's been hurt.
Kyle-
He's been hurt for a
So
bunch.
this is the thing.
He's been hurt a bunch.
But
He's
the
struggled
Raptors
late.
are the number one team in the East.
Yeah,
right?
that's why you got Kawhi.
That's
Nah,
true.
I don't
know,
think
but-
I don't think the Raptors have that big of discrepancy where you're like they deserve 2 All Stars.
But Kyle Lowry,
Kyle Lowry did
when
have
he's
a-
played,
yeah.
he has played like an all-star.
And he did open the season strong. He opened the season strong. He had a low patch. But I just think it's D Wade. I still put D Wade over Kyle Lowry, to be absolutely honest, man. If I had to choose between
This is just
D-Wade's
emotion.
last
It's just your emotion.
dance. Okay.
Don't
Don't get emotional.
Yeah, one last All Star, man.
All right. So what you got for the West, Mitch? Why don't you start off for the West for us?
So at the guard spots, I think honestly, I think everyone's gonna have the same ones. But at the guard spots, I have Steph
Mm-hmm.
and James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
The forwards, I have KD,
Mm-hmm.
I have Anthony Davis,
Yep.
and I have LeBron James. But
Exact.
let me say that
Whoa,
if
whoa,
LeBron
whoa.
can't play, because I do think that he deserves to be in the All-Star in the starter. But if he can't play, because
Yeah.
they're just like, you need to rest.
Yeah. Who do you think would be that? Who would be that call up?
I want Jokic in the All-Star game.
I had it listed right here. Number 6 would be Jokic. Like, I think to your point again, and I totally agree. LeBron, he's perennially going to be on the All-Star starting lineup. Like, I don't see a year in which he's not. And like to your point, like Curry, Harden, Durant, AD, they're locks. There's you can't. There's no budging.
So I got.
But yeah, I think to Mitch's point, that notable sub I had though was Jokic because he's having a beast of a year.
Denver's
man.
number one in the
Denver's
West.
number 1. This kid just dude. And halfway through last season, he really proved me wrong. But this season, he took it to another level too, man. Like taking Denver to the number 1 on the West. This kid's solid, man.
So
Ben.
I got 4 out of your 5.
What you got? What do you got, Ben? Who's your 5?
So the 5th, I got Jokic instead of AD.
Jokic instead of
starter,
AD.
yeah.
Like you just said, man. You just
Bro,
said,
you're-
Jokic is MVP conversation right now, man. You
He's
got
averaging over 7 assists a game
It is
as
true,
a center.
Yeah, this
And
guy's
Denver
one of
is
the
number
best
one.
centers.
And Denver is
Denver's
number
number
one.
one. Where
is
yo,
true.
where are the Pelicans right now? Pelicans are what? 21 and 23. They're what, like fourth last in the West. They've done no damage.
So
You can't have. We're talking about if you're gonna give Kyle Lowry that second All-Star in the for the Raptors being first in the East, you have to reward the fact that Denver's first in the West.
Yo, but
and that's why I'm putting Jokic at that 5
that's the
spot.
thing.
in
That's
West.
why I wouldn't put. I'm making the assumption that LeBron is not going to play in the game. So
I'm
that's
making
how I'm
the-
getting around this. That I
Even with
I agree.
LeBron,
But I think
what-
LeBron will play.
I think Jokic has done more this season to put him over AD.
I
in terms
don't
of
know
starters.
if that's fair to say, man.
I'm
'Cause,
gonna throw that as
dude,
a hot
if you-
take.
If you look at the last 30 days, though, man, Anthony Davis has averaged 32 points, 15 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, and a 3. Like
And
this
how
guy,
many W's?
it don't matter. But we're
that's the
talking
thing,
about his
it's-
performance, though. It's not his team is
it-
trash.
Yo, you
can't-
gotta consider both though. You gotta
But his
consider
you have
both.
to consider both. You do.
But his team is Becky. You're right. I agree. But his team, Anthony Davis does not have a good team around him, whereas Denver is a solid team.
That's the thing. Like Denver's deep.
It's a
They're
deep team. And if you look at what Anthony Davis is doing, it is almost unreal. Like, James Harden is a solid MVP candidate, but realistically, man, I think Anthony Davis is doing some unreal stuff. Like, again, 32 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and he does everything. And he's shooting at a high clip. 80% from the free throw line, 52% from the field. This guy does no wrong.
So if we're saying LeBron for sure is going to play, and we really want to put Jokic in, and we're like, well, we can't take AD off. What about Kevin
I
Durant?
can.
No,
I can.
No, Kevin Durant's there, man. He Iceberg Slim is real. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I was debating between KD or Paul George because the snubs I had were PG.
Yeah,
AD.
PG up
PG
there
was
too.
close.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't
PG is
think
close too, man.
it's close, but no.
He's potential like defensive player of the year.
Yo, but not compared to Golden State. Not compared to Kevin Durant, man. Kevin Durant's not even trying right now. And
So
he's doing the
this is
numbers.
what I was struggling with: the fact that like if you have KD and Steph, you're putting 2 All-Stars there for the Warriors.
But
And
they
But it's
they're
the
not-
Warriors, though.
But
I
they deserve
get
it.
it. I get it. But they're second. OKC's third. You're gonna put 2 All-Stars from Golden State for
But they
being
can still make the
second?
all. This is just starters. Remember, this is just starters.
right.
All these guys are still going to be all stars.
But you're also
Starters only.
You're also saying this, like Paul George to KD 1-on-1. Who's better? There's
but this
no
is-
doubt that Kevin Durant is better. He's a 7. He's like Paul George, 7 feet. Right? It's just not fair. He does everything Paul George can do, but he's 7 feet.
He's definitely more talented. I'll give you that. He's definitely more
It's,
talented.
just, it's not fair. Kevin Durant's one of those
So we're not
athletes.
taking KD out then.
You can't take KD out. I'm telling you, you cannot take KD out. You
The
cannot
only
take
one
James
you're
Harden
taking
out.
out is AD, yo. Why?
You can't take AD out. Like,
I don't think
you
I
can't
don't know.
take AD. His efficiency is on a different level too. Like, that's the thing. Jokic, he's playing in a great system, and he's got great teams, like great teammates to play with.
But
Anthony
he
Davis,
is that system though. Like
I disagree, man.
as
Jamal
much
Murray,
as-
like
Nah,
he-
you
I-
put Jokic like the offense
he
runs
had,
to Jokic.
yeah. So as much help as as much as AD runs through, or like Pelicans run through AD, like everything runs through Denver too. Yo, this guy
but
is like a 7-foot point guard.
I agree.
The way he sets up
You're
the
right.
plays.
He's like, when you see that big on big pick and roll, what he ran with Plumlee, I think it's pretty incredible, man. To see
Yeah.
2 centers, like the fact that they can play 2 centers is a testament to how skilled Jokic is, right? But AD is the entire New Orleans team. Like there is you can't like
But here's the thing. So it's tough because I agree with both of you. Like Jokic,
Choose one.
Jokic to me is like
He's the
probably he's probably gonna go down as the best passing big
one of the
in
most skillful
history.
bigs. I think he's one of the most
He's
skilled
up there.
NBA
He's up there.
history,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Even
Skill-
skill-wise.
skill-wise,
yeah,
he's one of the
definitely.
best.
He's
for sure.
averaging 7.5 assists a game
sure.
as a center. Like that's crazy.
Agreed.
But on the other hand, you have AD. And AD is no question is the best big man in the game
Yeah.
today.
And he's both ends of the floor, right? Offense and defense. I think
Exactly.
that's the key point.
So if you're, yeah, I'll agree. I'll give you that. Jokic's defense isn't like on the same level as AD, but at the end of the day, man, you gotta translate those to wins. Like
You give him a
You
team,
gotta-
bro.
bro,
It's
like,
not AD.
AD
If you put AD on
you
Utah,
have to be at least respectable. You can't be a bottom 4 squad and argue against the number 1 squad in the West. You can't, like, that's a big discrepancy. If it was like first place and maybe like even 5th, 6th, I'll give you that.
They're 3
I'll give
games
you
out.
that.
They're 3 games out of the 8th spot. or the Pelicans are 3 games out. They're not that.
They're
far
not that
behind.
far out, man. To be absolutely fair, yeah, exactly. To be just one, they're not that far out. Okay, Denver's got 29 wins. Okay, New Orleans at 21. Right, they're not that far out. And again, I think the comparison is this: if you put AD, if you swap AD
one-on-one,
no, I'm saying if you swap AD for Jokic, I think Denver would be even better, man. Like, whereas if you put Jokic on Portland, they would not. Like, sorry, on New Orleans, they would not be anywhere where they are. Right, like, because AD, like, he's so much more valuable.
Let's put
on
that on
both
a poll.
ends of the floor.
Let's put that on a social poll. Who deserves the All-Star more, AD or Jokic?
The starting
Or
lineup.
starting-
yeah,
starting
who-
lineup.
who's
Starting
deserving
lineup.
the
I think
starting
that's
lineup? Yeah,
good.
that's a good. That's a very close debate. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Can we all just maybe agree on this? Is that the West starters would destroy
Destroy
the East starters?
No,
Yeah.
it's not even close, man. Not even close.
Yeah, you still got
That's good.
Giannis and
Nah,
Kawhi.
man, it's not close.
You got
man.
2 lockdown defenders,
Dude, they have no
and
range.
then Embiid,
They have no
Embiid,
range.
and versus let's say like Jokic and or AD. That's a close one
But
too.
here, think about this.
What's the
Okay,
guards?
So
The guards
West
are-
starters, realistically, if you look at the West starters, as if we were all agreeing on it, all these players at their positions will go down as one of the top players in NBA history at their position. Look at the East. Kemba, Kyrie, they're not going to go down as...
Kyrie might be one of the best point guards. I get that. One of the
not
best
in history.
handles.
In NBA history, he won't go down as that. He'll be up there, but he's not a Steph Curry. Kemba Walker is not a James Harden. Right?
It's tough. Like West, but again, what's the structure going to look like this year? It's not West versus East again, right? I'm sorry, it's not going to be West versus East. Is it going to be
It's captains. It's
Yeah,
captains.
it's gonna be captains,
Yeah.
right? Which I think that'll be fun. So you know what? That'll mix it up. It'll make it exciting. It'll make it fun. But just in terms of like West to East, West is so much better this year. It is not even close.
Always is.
We're debating,
close.
Blake Griffin should be an all-star versus you have Jokic,
Dude,
And
you
or
have Paul
AD.
George.
Yeah,
even Carl Anthony Towns
yeah,
is
yeah.
a big
Cat's
snub
doing-
too. Cat's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
solid. Like there's enough.
You
There's
think-
so many people that
You guys think
can get
Lillard's
snubbed.
gonna get snubbed again?
He'd probably get snubbed.
Every
No,
time.
I think he has to make it.
He's
Out the guards?
over PG. He's not gonna get over PG.
You 12 players make it.
I don't see him getting it, man.
Chris Paul's not making it for sure. So.
No, Chris Paul's not going to make it.
Actually, that's true. Chris Paul's injured, but
It's like
And
Westbrook-
you got
it's
Westbrook. You got
the thing,
Westbrook
I
too.
still think Westbrook, PG, they're both up there, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of think arguably they're probably both better than Dame Lillard right now. As much as I love Dame, man, Westbrook is beasting. his back.
I think there's enough spaces though.
Okay,
to
what
make
about
it.
this? D Rose. Does he deserve?
I would love.
Does
to see
he
him.
deserve?
I would, especially after that 50-point game this year, like just to see the adversity he's come through. I would love to see him make it, but I don't see it. The West is just too stacked, man.
I think for him, even just seeing that the fans are voting him in as
Yeah.
like second in guards, like that already means the world to him. Like,
Yeah,
Here's one for the East. Do you think Siakam makes it?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, man. It's honestly like if there's injuries, especially, there's a strong case for him to even make it, man.
I don't know, man. I guess it is the East.
The East is thin.
The East.
I would
is
take him
thin.
over Horford. I would take him over Hayward.
That's true. Yeah, you're
Like-
right. I would maybe even take. Actually, no, not over Simmons. Like,
What about Butler? Because I think it's like, let's say him or Butler.
I would rather have Siakam than Butler.
but I think Butler will get the vote. Like Butler will get the nod by the like by the coaches.
But I think coaches. No,
By the coaches,
by
he'll get
coaches.
the nod. I think
I think
Butler will get the
coaches are
nod,
starting to
too.
respect Siakam a lot more.
Yeah, but he's still young, right? Whereas Butler's a proven star. Butler is a legit proven star, right?
But this year though.
This year,
about
yeah.
this year.
I still you can't you have to ride with him, man. You can't leave if you're gonna. Butler will make the playoffs. Oh, sorry, he won't make the
like
All-Star.
this
Butler.
He'll make the 12.
So who would make it? Siakam or Tatum?
That's a good one. Tatum or Siakam? I actually don't know.
I'd rather have Siakam.
I'd
Siakam's
rather
been
take
better.
Siakam.
Siakam's
Siakam-
having a better
Siakam's
year.
been
Yeah,
better.
Siakam's having a better year.
So then he's an
MIP, yo,
all-star.
MIP.
So
We'll
Siakam's
see,
an all-star.
man.
We established it.
We'll see, man. Shout out. If Raps get
Spicy.
3 people,
Let's go.
Yo, if Raps get 3 players into the All-Star game, that'll be a shout out, man. That'll be big. That'll
Wow.
be big.
All right, cool. So those are our all-star predictions, man. Yeah, so we'll throw that AD versus Jokic one on social. So keep an eye out for that. Let's look at 3 upcoming games for next week. Let's start with we got Friday. We got New Orleans at Portland. This one Friday, January 18th. So who y'all got, man? You got AD versus what, Dame?
Yeah, riding on that wave, I'm gonna say AD. This is just a terror matchup for Portland. They got reverse swept by this team last year, and it's just I think it's
That's
gonna be more of the
true.
same. Like,
Is it the first time they're playing against each other? No,
I'm not
right?
sure. I don't think it's the first time, but yo, New Orleans just AD has their number. Like it's unstoppable, man. Like, it's gonna be like barbecue chicken for AD. Yo.
I'm going with Portland. They're at home.
You're coming for revenge? You think they're gonna?
I think
for revenge?
they're like, okay, we
got
had months to look this over.
That's true.
Nurkic is playing a lot better.
He is. He is.
So
He's playing really well too.
I'm gonna go with Portland.
I'm also going with Portland. I think that Pelicans aren't the same team as they were last year in the playoffs. They lost a lot, but we'll see. Okay, and then next one we got OKC at Philly. That'll be a good one. Yeah, Saturday.
This is gonna be a good matchup. Dude, you got a healthy team in Philly with the Butler combo. This is gonna be tough, man. I think I'm gonna have to go with Philly on this one.
Wow.
I think Philly's just like they're so much bigger than OKC.
What? Steven Adams?
See, but that's it though.
You see how much beef and steak he eats?
Yo, but Embiid is massive, right? And then you have Ben Simmons. Like Ben Simmons is probably gonna put a lock on Paul George. He's probably gonna be guarding Paul George.
I think it's gonna be Paul George putting a lock on Ben Simmons.
No, I don't know, but I think that will be the guarded matchup though, right? I think they would probably have Ben Simmons on Paul George most likely.
Mitch, who you got?
With Butler on Mr. Russell.
I think I'm gonna go OKC on this. I'm really excited to see the Embiid Steven Adams matchup.
That would be a good matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going OKC.
Yeah, I'm also riding OKC. I think Philly's been struggling a lot actually. Like they've really been struggling.
They haven't been great.
They didn't they lose to Atlanta? They lost to Atlanta.
Philly's 18-4 at home.
Yeah. But
and
I think they
but
they also
like
step up
recently,
against good teams.
They
That's
do.
the thing.
They do.
I think they play down to their competition. But when they play good teams, man,
but they've just been kind of slumping lately. But I'm going OKC. They're really gelling together, man. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then we got last one. We got Sacramento at
New Jersey or Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn
On Monday, the 21st. This is actually a good matchup of the middling teams, both with young rookies on the rise. I think Nets take this one, man. I think Jared Allen has been, dude, this guy's a beast, man. He's a defensive machine.
D'Angelo Russell's been
D'Lo's been balling,
right?
Yeah.
And so I think, this is going to be for BKN, man. I got to give it to Brooklyn on this one.
I'm going with Sacramento.
You guys all fly.
I really want to see the De'Aaron Fox versus D'Lo matchup. I don't know.
Fox is gonna run circles around D'Lo.
D'Lo's been balling though.
He's been good. He's been good. But the thing is, like, Fox is fast.
He is fast, and he's a lockdown defender. He's a solid lockdown defender. So that'll be tough.
This one's tough.
Man. That is a tough one.
I want to say Sacramento because they're more talented, but watching them down the stretch, it's painful to watch them. They can't execute.
They seem disorganized.
At all. Brooklyn kind of struggles too, but I think they're starting to learn how to win down the stretch. I have to go Brooklyn on this one, man. Brooklyn. Did you see the other day when they chanted Kyrie's leaving?
Kyrie's leaving.
That's savage, yo. That's savage. Okay, cool. So we got those locked in. Yeah, man. So keep it locked on our social channels, man. I think we're gonna start getting some of these polls out. We're gonna start getting some content out again. You guys know where to find us: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as on our website, mobucketspodcast.com. And Happy New Year, everybody, man. Like Frankie said, man. I know this one's like kind of mid month now into January, but we're rocking and rolling again. So, y'all got anything else for viewers?
All good,
man.
All good.
Looking forward to the second half of the season, yo.
Yes, sir. All right, cool. So until next week, then I guess keep getting buckets to all our listeners. Peace.